So I was suspecting that because we had a little bit of a lag last week, it might be a little bit difficult to get callers. So what I did was I found in a box randomly a tiny little journal from, I want to say 2014, so almost 10 years ago. And it is entitled Quest for God. And this, my friends, is a documentary, it's not very long, of my own deconstruction as it was happening as a 20-year-old. And when I read this, my jaw was on the floor, and I was deeply amused and also deeply saddened. And I was thinking I'd read a little bit of this, just so you guys can tell. Like this is, it starts out. I'm 20 years old. Okay, I'm 29. This is 9 years ago, and I'm not kidding when I tell you that this was I was right there with you guys, right? Like this was me. All right. God. I am 20 years old. I have examined myself and found my understanding of God to be wanting. I have become frightened and upset too easily. My thoughts plod from day to day with little thought of the eternal except to question its existence. I am not at peace. I can feel him, the I am around me, pushing against me, just around the corner. It is beautiful, tantalizing, profound, promising utter peace and courage if I can just understand it. I want to so badly. I am no longer sure of my faith. Like a child who is convinced her real father is someone she has never met, someone who will explain her life to her, I go searching for a new God. This was before I came out. Even to myself. Part of that tantalizing around the corner, pretty sure was that I wasn't a she. Not really new, different. There is only one God, and he is everywhere. There for the taking if we can but find him. Not that I expect to understand God. I would never be so presumptuous. I cannot understand algebra, much less the Creator. The Creator, I like that name. If I could just find a facet of him to look at and understand, to cherish as my own, I would be content. And then I have a little bullet list. Issues with Christianity. It is not spiritual enough. Its tendency to be close-minded and judgmental. Saying no one else is going to be accepted. The lingo is one I had an issue with, apparently. Its lack of action in everyday life. Its synonymousness with conservatives or America in general. Putting God in a box. So those were the things I was thinking were wrong with Christianity as a Christian 9 years ago. Questions. Who is God? Is it blasphemous to call God something other than he? Is it possible for other faiths to access or commune with God? How much of the Bible is influenced by historical cultural norms? How much is still relevant? How important is the role of Jesus? How much of the Christian religion can you reject and still be a Christian? That's a telling one, you guys, just in case you are wondering. If you have to ask yourself, how much of this can I reject and still be a Christian? You probably don't want to be one anymore. Is it possible to commune with God through other non-traditional means? Can, for instance, picking a flower count as prayer? Is it possible that a spiritual high is able to last? Is it more holy to stay with strict, safe guidelines and be thirsty, or to venture into quote-unquote forbidden territory in a search for your creator? How subjective is sin? Are there objective rights and wrongs besides things like murder? And how does one differentiate between opinion and truth? These are just some of the questions that have driven me to look farther into myself. I am not without faith or conviction, however. Things I believe now. Everyone has and continues to believe in, and that got crossed out, experience God. God is bigger than Christianity. People need more spirituality, especially Christians. Jesus was the Son of God, and the gospel is true. God, on some level, wants me to find him. Being a nerd and a writer, my version of the quest for God incorporates a good deal of writing and reading. Here is where I will be recording my pilgrimage, my goals, to grasp and inhabit a facet of God, to be able to understand or at least guess the role of Christianity in the realm of the divine, to cultivate a relationship with God through personal intercession and communication, to be able to clearly and succinctly state my beliefs to someone else, that's important, and to eradicate Christian lingo and stereotypes from my faith unless I purposefully adopt them as true. And then I've got Matthew 7 and 8 in there. But yeah, that's the introduction to my little Quest for God booklet that I wrote 9 years ago, detailing exactly where I was at the time and exactly how far I've come since. So hopefully that tickled you. I know it did me. And if you have the same kinds of thoughts in your own brain right now, if any of this sounded like, oh, that's how I feel, or that's what I was thinking, call in, we can talk about it. I remember being here. And I can talk about how I got from this to being an atheist on the internet. But more importantly, even if you don't want to call in or engage with me at all, know that is the direction you're headed. So tread lightly, I guess.